final part of this chapter, part 3 of chapter 3. Robert sighed and Thaddeus squeezed his shoulder. Never mind, we'll make a clockmaker of you yet, but perhaps you'd better work behind the counter today for a while until you get your confidence back. Robert did as he was told, but a while turned into 2 long hours, then nearly 3, and the whole time the fox and the airship and the mutton chop man were, with mirrored eyeballs, whirred around his mind like clockwork. Finally, after work, when he had a few spare minutes to himself, Robert put on his thick coat and cap and scarf and set off across the village. He passed the walled graveyard and chapel and the terraced air station cottages on the cobbled street before arriving at Pincher's Alley once more. He cut down along the scrubby track without a second thought. The rear windows of the cottages were dark. Robert glanced along the line of the high back walls, looking for a place where he thought an injured fox might hide. Halfway up the line he noticed a gate ajar. Behind the gate was an old wooden shed whose roof poked up over the line of walls. In there would be just the spot for a frightened fox. Robert stepped through the gate and crossed the yard, squeezing past a pile of rusted farm equipment to approach the shed. The lock had been broken off recently by the look of it, for a hasp hung loose by a couple of screws, and the patch of wood above the doorknob was gnawed with tooth marks and freshly exposed. Robert opened the door and, taking care to cover his mouth against the dust, crept inside. Oddments of wood leaned against the walls covered in peeling paint. Piles of newspaper lined the rows of shelves, and the floor was strewn with packing cases. On the old table in the centre of the space, bottles clustered in green gangs, and above them cobwebs, thick as knitting, hung like hammocks on the dark apex of the roof. Robert looked around for the fox and saw its threadbare tail sticking out from behind a stack of boxes. He stepped round an old steamer trunk and caught sight of the rest of the animal curled up on the corner of the faded, water-stained mattress. It was a scruffy-looking beast with glassy eyes and a careworn fur that looked like it was moulting in patches. A pouch, and the mechanimal's unique winding key was hung around its neck. Robert crept towards it, but it didn't move a twitch. It was frozen still and wound.